Hey, I want to share my experiences with range anxiety and my personal tale of my journey of Overwatch, and maybe someone can learn from it as well. I get some background who I am. I started playing Overwatch back in, well, the beta, really, 7 years ago. My first season, I placed 59. I peaked, I should say, 59 as Tracer on console. Not actually rank 59, whatever 59 was equivalent to. I think it was like low diamond, high plat. Well, I stayed plat until about season 6, and I do it with a friend, and then I got to Masters, and I stayed Masters to about season 15, and then I decayed all the way down to Diamond. And the next season after that, they took Decay away. So I was, I made it to, during that time, 3982, being one game away from Grandmasters 7 times during that. I never made it. All my friends who I queued with at the high level made it, every single one. Besides me, just sucked. And I started, just having doubts. If am I good enough? Blah blah blah. I would get on my main account and I would lose in diamond games, and I just would think I don't deserve anything. Blah blah. I'm bad. Then I'll hop on a Smurf, which is higher than my main account, like 3,700, 3,800 masters, and I just roll kids. Then I get to 3,900, 3,950, and I just stop playing. I get scared. I play poorly if I did play. I'd be constantly thinking I just couldn't do it. And I really wanted that shiny emblem, but at the same time, I was so afraid of never being able to achieve it. And being afraid was my failure and not failing itself. And it's something that took me a long time to realize. Um, I only hit like GM technically in like, I don't know, like deathmatch in 2018, or like, team deathmatch, the arcade modes no one cared about. I felt really confident in my understanding the game, even as only a high master peak player. I would coach my friends, including one of my friends. Everyone has that guy. Oh, Isaac over here is the rank one. But in all seriousness, my friend, he was easily could have been a top 50 player. He still asked me questions, and so part of me had confidence that I at least knew what I was doing, even if I couldn't execute it correctly. But I had 3 or 4 accounts at 3,900 and never crossed that to the 4K margin. Fast forward a bit, Overwatch 2 gets announced. I'm like, okay, maybe I can get some life back in me and try again. Um, Season 1 comes around, and I climb all the way up to Masters 1 on tank. Didn't make it because again I just kept getting anxious and anxious every time I climbed. Like I was at Diamond 3. I was like, I don't know if I deserve it, bro. Like blah blah blah. I'm not even in Masters yet. Like top 500 players, or just barely in Masters, and just like, and then I would push past that, eventually get there, and I get to the Masters 1. I get another account, climb it all the way up. Just repeat over and over and over again. And eventually, I played an off role. I'm not a DPS player personally, but whatever. And I played Sojourn. If you know Overwatch, you know how Sojourn was in season 1 and 2. And I hit GM finally. And you might be thinking, whoa, you did it. It wasn't even through range anxiety. You just talked about all this anxiety and never being able to hit it. You just did it randomly. Yeah, that kind of puts a hole in the moral of the story, or the point of the story. But still bear with me. I didn't. Well, as you might be thinking as well, I didn't deserve it. Like, I picked Sojourn, got a random pocket mercy to pocket me and carry them to GM, and it wasn't hard. It was on console too. I'm sure I mentioned that earlier on. Just like, to me, it wasn't. I didn't feel worthy. I felt better at my peak like 4 years ago than I did then. Than I do now. Still, honestly, even back when I was in season 1. This is recording. This is April 18th. I still wanted to feel like I deserved it. Like, I wanted to feel like I earned it. I remember, like, I always had a PC. I had played some PC Overwatch back in Overwatch 1. I just picked Hog and went to that backline to like 3,300 or something like that and stopped playing. It wasn't hard. It wasn't much difference for me, at least. And so Overwatch 2, hopped on season 3, Overwatch 2 on PC, and climbed to Masters 3. Where, like, it was kind of funny. I finally realized something. I was Masters 3, and I still had, on PC, I still had some Xbox accounts here and there, just randomly placed. Season 4 came around, and they put you at your MMR. And Um, quickly, if you don't know what MMR versus SR, SR is your current displayed rank. MMR is what the game thinks you truly are versus what it's displaying. So, for most of the time in Overwatch, you're at your SR, and the game's trying to get you to your hidden MMR. You know, wins, lost, whatever. But at Season 4, they just put you at your MMR because it's where it should be. And so I had multiple accounts. Some from low diamond shoot straight up to Gm1. I, overnight, went from a barely GM5 Sojourn to a GM1 all roles multiple accounts player. And it just, like, it felt terrible again. Like, I didn't feel like I earned it. I achieved my goals. And because I had no fear of losing on all these alt accounts I didn't care about, I was able to climb easily. And all along, I had it in me. I was able to do it. The only thing that was holding me back was myself, was the anxiety itself. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough, because I was. I got all these accounts. So, like, after my MMR put me at GM1, and I was like, oh, I'm now just a top 250 player, like, on console. Like, oh, great. Out of nowhere. Like, didn't feel like I deserved it. But at the same time, I look back at a specific game, 2 games actually. The first one was a game where it was a Masters lobby. I was smurfing, and I dropped 53 elims, 2200 damage, and 5 deaths. I had more elims and damage than 4 of the enemy players combined, and we still lost the game. And it's just like, I couldn't have put those numbers up. I couldn't have got this hidden MMR if I didn't deserve it. The only thing that can hold you back are the walls you build yourself. If you're afraid of failing, then you have already failed. The second game I mentioned was on PC. I faced Sunshine Bread. She's a top 500 DPS player. And it was a close game. She won. And then I went to go watch her stream afterwards, and she's over here with like 40 things up in her background, each map rotation, writing down different things, chewing focus chews. I'm like, bro, her work ethic is twice the amount of mine. But she doesn't care about losing at all. She doesn't care if she loses or wins, whatever. She wants to improve. So there's no failure to her, because as long as she's trying, she will always improve. Because you can't really fail at trying. You can always try. And it's just funny. I never hit my goals when I was afraid of losing. I hit them when I didn't care. She hit her, I mean, I can't speak for her, but she hit her top 500 because she didn't care about losing. I was afraid of losing. I never hit my goals. I hit them when I didn't care. And it's not that you shouldn't care about your goals. It's the exact opposite, actually. You should care very deeply. You should be very passionate about your goals. But you shouldn't care about failing to achieve them, because you only fail when you give up.